Hey everyone, the name is Erik Thor and I want to talk to you guys because I found that there is a big problems with how we all perceive and aspire towards selflessness. I believe, and let me be clear about that, I think we all need to start practicing more kindness, more understanding and more love towards one another. But I still take a big fault, I still take a big issue with the concept of selflessness. The idea of doing an action that isn't from the self, that isn't based on who you are or what you need or what your essence is. Because my issue is we all tend to celebrate a kind of giving or a kind of care that is completely selfless. And we tend to say that care for other people should be selfless. But often we here create an impossible ideal of goodness. An ideal that very few people can live up to. An ideal that isn't healthy or sustainable. What I've noticed when it comes to selfless love is that people argue that kindness and giving and love that also reinforces you as a person and makes you feel good isn't truly good. An idea given by a lot of people is that we should be good in a way that doesn't help us. We should be good without the need for feeling good. We should give without the need for feeling like a good person. We shouldn't have ulterior motives behind helping other people. Well, what I've noticed is a lot of people take this truth as it can be raised as, and they interpret it in a way that is dangerous. A lot of people want to practice love and care for other people while completely ignoring their own boundaries, their own needs, and their own process. I come across a lot of people who give of themselves in a way that gives at their own expense. I see a lot of people who give of themselves and who compromise their own boundaries out of the desire to be good, to be selfless. What I think is goodness, in the true sense of the word, is something that is built on and comes from inside. You wanting to do something good for another person because you want to be a good person and because you feel because you love to feel like you've done something good and because you feel proud of yourself for the good things you do. And because you give in a way that doesn't take from or compromise your own journey. The issue I find with people who give of themselves in a way that compromises their own boundaries is that they find themselves becoming more neurotic, more unstable, more prone to worry, more easily frustrated, and more easily hurt. People who give of themselves without respecting their own boundaries often compromise what they feel is right and what their own sense of what's right and wrong and their own goals and their own journey to meet other people's expectations. And people who give of themselves in a way that is respectless to themselves often become the target of narcissists. And there is a big issue here. There is a triad here between muses, who are the people that often give of themselves and give of their energy and their passion to other people without respecting their own boundaries. And narcissists, who lack energy and passion and who have strong personal boundaries and strong personal instincts, but who take energy and passion from other people to build up themselves. A narcissist is going to pursue the muse as a natural target because the muse often teaches themselves to neglect any personal understanding. The muse is a person who says, I understand you. The muse is the person who understands everyone but themselves. The muse is the person who extends service and care and kindness to everyone but themselves. The muse is the person who takes everyone else's perspective but their own. Their own inner self is a personal blind spot to the muse. The muse is a person who is blind to their own needs, their own issues, their own feelings, and their own problems. The muse is a person who often silently judges themselves, feeling bad for all the people they don't help, feeling angry at themselves for feeling angry, or feeling sad, or feeling hurt. The muse judges themselves and their actions very harshly, judging themselves very harshly for how they treat other people and failures to live up to other people's expectations. The muse is a person that hasn't learned to love other people from within, and instead loves other people from outside. And the muse, because of this, has a distorted view of what is good and bad, kind and right. There is a risk that the muse becomes like an enabler for another person. The muse, because you don't respect your own sense of view or what you think is right, you are at risk of disregarding your own moral compass. You might not trust your own judgment. You might not trust your own sense of what's right and wrong. And when other people tell you something is right or wrong or good for them, you might do it and you might compromise. And in that you might disregard, because you might feel inside yourself, you might have this voice that tells you you shouldn't do it, and that it probably won't help, and that it probably isn't good. And the muse often has taught themselves to disregard that own voice, that own idea of what the right way to do things are, what the right journey is. What I find when it comes to the muse is that the muse is a person who is kind of cut off from their own journey in life. Muses put off their own goals and their own needs to help other people. Muses postpone their own plans and procrastinate by engaging in helping everyone but themselves. Now, what the muse does is actually, on the biggest frame of it all, quite positive. The kindness, the goodness of the muse is inspiring. The muse is inspired. The muse has a lot of energy and a lot of passion because they help people, they love people, they connect with people. They are doing things they love, and they often love helping other people. That's why they do it. The problem is that the muse, because their love doesn't, because they're kind of blocked from relating to and understanding themselves, the muse is still in a process of finding out who they are. And eventually you're gonna have to discover that. Eventually you're gonna have to sit down with yourself and have a long, deep chat about who you are, who you really are. Eventually you're gonna have to disregard what everyone else thinks you are. You're gonna have to disregard what everyone else thinks you love. And you're gonna have to consider what you love. And you're gonna have to consider who you are and what your journey in life is and what your goals are, what you've been putting off for so long. What is it you wanna do that you've been putting off for so long? What is it you need that you haven't asked for? Because that's also important. Someone who wants to help others must also be ready to ask for help in return. We need to have a world where people who give also love to accept. Where people who give love also feel comfortable asking for love. Where people who are kind also feel comfortable taking other people's kindness and accepting it. We need to have this world where people want to help each other and want to be helped in return. Because what I find that we have today is we have this world with millions of people who want to help, but very few people who want to be helped. Because they don't think they're worth it, because they don't think they deserve it, because they don't think a person should want to have help because they feel ashamed for asking for it to begin with. Well, I think there is something inherently wrong with the world where you feel like it's good and kind to help, but shameful to ask for it. Isn't that kind of contradictory? If we look at it on a bigger scale, then we build up a system where half of the world feels love and feels like good about themselves, and the other half feels shame for being helped. And why do we feel ashamed for something that makes people feel so good? Kindness is something that builds you up and that strengthens you, that gives you power, that gives you passion, that makes you feel like life matters. Accepting other people's kindness should also feel like something important, positive, and reassuring. Because we have this world where everyone is helping everyone, where everyone is supporting each other rather than trying to tear each other's down. Maybe it's a naive vision, maybe it's the NF in me, but still I think we can reach that society and we can find a way to be good. And we don't have to be selfless. We can be selfishly empathic. We can see ourselves and still see everyone else also. We can understand others without compromising our own understanding of ourselves. At least that's my thought. What's your thought on the subject? I hope we can have a good discussion about this, because I don't have all the answers. This is just something I've been wrestling with. And yeah, that's all for now. I hope you enjoyed this video, and may your neurons be with you.